Hey guys, welcome to yet another top 10. I think that makeup is something that we learn over time from trial and error what works for us. In this video, I want to cover the things I think could help anyone's makeup routine, regardless as to the particularities of what you like for your skin tone or for your desired look. I think these are things that anyone could add to their routine and get a little boost. So let's get started. My first pick relates to hygiene, and it's a solid brush and sponge cleaner. What you do with this, you run a little bit of warm water and you take your brush or sponge and you swirl it around in the solid soap, and then you dab it on this rubber piece. It gets all of the product out of your brushes without getting soap up into where the brush is glued together. I find that if you use a liquid brush soap, you tend to not be able to control where it goes. You'll end up getting water and soap up into where the brush is glued together. And if you're investing in makeup brushes you want to have for a long time, you can end up ruining your investment by having the bristles fall out. So the best thing to do is make sure that when you're cleaning your brushes, you can control where the soap and water goes, and with a solid cleaner, it's really easy to do that. My next pick relates to having an even glowing complexion. These are both CC creams. CC stands for color correcting, BB stands for beauty balm. I find that they kind of do exactly the same thing. My bottom line is that I dropped it. But my bottom line is that I don't like to wear foundation because I find that foundation looks cakey on my skin over time. I have dry skin, and something to keep in mind with makeup is the more product you're wearing, the more hydration your skin requires to wear it throughout the day. I have very little hydration naturally, so even if I'm spritzing my face throughout the day, a foundation can start to look cakey because you see where my pores are trying to gasp for air through them, and it just doesn't work for me. I also don't really need that much coverage. So my two favorite CC creams are the YSL Touche Éclat, and this one is very light and it's dewy and it looks natural. You could put this on and nothing else and no one will think you're wearing makeup because it doesn't have texture at all. It has SPF. I've bought so many tubes of this. This one's in the shade B30, which is my summer shade. And then for days I'm going a little bit more glamorous, I use the IT Cosmetics CC Your Skin But Better. This one has higher SPF, more than double the YSL, which I like a lot. I also like that IT Cosmetics is very ingredient conscious, and this one is also water resistant, so you can wear it to a pool day. If you have some blemishes you want to cover up, you get really, really good coverage with IT Cosmetics, much more than YSL. You can even layer this and get more of a foundation-like effect without really suffocating your skin the same way as if you were wearing foundation. So my second pick is makeup that does not suffocate your skin, that looks like real skin but gives you that perfected complexion that we all want. My third pick pertains to knowing your concealer. So most of the women that I know that aren't particularly interested in makeup use concealers interchangeably, and something that you have to know about concealers is they're formulated differently based on what they're supposed to do. These are for under eye circles. This is the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer, and this is the Radiant Creamy Concealer from NARS. Both of these are formulated for under eye circles. They're radiant, they're moisturizing, they're made for an area that can have a satiny finish. With that in mind, you wouldn't want to go and cover up blemishes on your forehead, on your chin with something like this. A, because it's very satiny and you're not trying to bring light and attract attention to that area. And B, because it's not a thick enough formula to stay put where you want it to. You have to have a full coverage matte concealer. This should be a perfect match to your skin tone because if it's a little bit lighter, you're highlighting the area, and if it's a little bit darker, you're defeating the purpose of covering up blemishes or anything that you want to conceal. If you put something this thick and matte underneath your eyes, it would end up looking dry and cakey in a very short amount of time. So you want to have both and use them for their intended purposes. My next makeup must-have pertains to setting your liquid makeup. Major makeup tip is never mix liquids and powders interchangeably as you're applying your face. You want to make sure you do all of your liquids and creams first and then move to powders, because if you mix them together, the liquids and powders kind of get a weird texture and start to lift. So if you put a liquid, then you put a powder, then you put another liquid, you'll find that it starts to kind of congeal or cake together, and it will move around as one piece and give you a very blotchy application. So the best thing you can do is do all of your liquid makeup, then go in with powders like bronzer and blush and everything. But wherever you have foundation on your face, you wanna make sure that you set it so that the foundation stays put where you want it to, because liquids have mobility more than powders. For under eyes, you wanna make sure you have a very, very fine powder that won't set into the wrinkles under your eyes. And with that being said, when you're applying concealer, make sure there's no wrinkles under your eyes. Even if you have to make a really funny face and like stretch it out, just make sure that whatever you're setting powder to is the state you want to maintain. So think of whatever you put the powder on, you're freezing in time. So if there's 3 wrinkles in your concealer and then you put a powder under your eyes, those 3 wrinkles will stay there. Knowing that, you wanna go in with a sponge and flatten out the creases in the concealer, then apply a very fine powder. This one is from Givenchy. Each grain of the powder is so thin that it doesn't show any texture on my under eyes, and I love that. For my face, this is the perfect setting powder from Cover FX, and it does very much the same thing. So once I've put CC cream on my whole face, I put the Cover FX on all of the open areas to set them so that the CC cream doesn't rub off when I hug people, it doesn't get on their shirt, it doesn't move around. That's such a short person thing to say. It doesn't get on their shirt because I'm so used to coming in at somebody's shoulder. Having good powders to make sure you're not just letting your liquids smear around all day is so key, especially now that we're wearing masks. If you put on liquid makeup, then you put on your mask, your whole mask is gonna wipe it off. So put on your makeup, set it, and then go about your life. My next pick is all about prep. So I talk about skincare in another video. I think I wanna do a video where I'm just showing you my skincare routine, but after you've completed your whole skincare routine from toner through SPF, you want to prime. Because whenever you have a canvas, you wanna make sure your canvas is ready for art. So if you finish with your SPF and moisturizer, and then you start applying makeup, you don't necessarily have the best possible base for makeup application. So you wanna go and get a primer. This is the Photo Finish Primer from Smashbox. You want to make sure that it does what you want it to do. So if you have redness, there's redness correcting primers. If you have large pores, there's silicone-based primers that fill in some of the texture, make your pores appear smaller. For me, I have a little bit of dullness because I'm dry, so I always buy illuminating primers. And then the same for your eyes, especially if you're going in with colored eyeshadow or very pigmented, glittery eyeshadows. You need to make sure you get the creases out, smooth everything over. This is the Primer Potion eyeshadow primer from Urban Decay. It creates an incredible base for eyeshadow and also causes less fallout throughout the day. So I really recommend both of these. Either way, just make sure you're using a primer. As we were just talking about face powders, I think something that every girl should have, no matter what your skin tone is a matte bronzer to warm up the face. And if you have a really deep skin tone, it can help to even go lighter than your skin tone and use it to powder and illuminate your face in the areas that you want to draw light to. So bronzer is just giving you dimension. It doesn't necessarily have to give you a tan. It can just bring color and dimension to your face just as being in the sun would. It's kind of like infusing light into something that's otherwise flat. So one of my favorites is the Milk Chocolate Soleil from Too Faced, and there's Milk Chocolate, Dark Chocolate, and I don't remember, I think there's a third one. But it's an amazing matte and it's also multi-purpose. If you take a crease brush, which is one of my next items, and go into your crease with a matte bronzer, it makes a really pretty natural look that gives dimension to your eyes. And then my other favorite bronzer is from Fenty Beauty in the shade Shady Biz. It is a beautiful, beautiful matte. Actually, these are called the Sunstalker bronzers, which I like. But Fenty has an amazing range of shades. If you could only have a few things in your makeup bag, bronzer is one of the best multi-purpose items because you can use it on your eyes, you can use it on your cheeks. If I had to only put on 4 things and go to work every single day, it would be CC cream, bronzer, mascara, and something colored for my lips. Speaking of eyeshadow, I think that having the right tools is so key to any makeup routine, but I can tell immediately when someone is doing their eyeshadow without one of these. So these are crease brushes. As you can see, this one is a bit more diffuse and the bristles are further apart, so it gives you a more diffuse application of color. Meaning if you dip this into an eyeshadow and do windshield wiper motions under your crease bone, the color won't be that intense. But that's an amazing transition shade. So you need to have one like this. If you're trying to do a smoky eye, you need to have the same kind of crease brush, but more dense, where the bristles are closer together and any color you pick up will show up with more intensity. So with these two things alone, you can make a smoky eye. But if you're using just a regular little square fluffy brush and trying to make a smoky eye, it will not be even unless you're a professional. It just makes your life harder. So getting the right kind of crease brush makes having beautiful eyeshadow take 10 seconds. It's as simple as that. Oh, and for your information, this is the Soft Focus eyeshadow brush from Bare Minerals, and this is the Airbrush Crease from Sephora collection. My next item pertains to maintenance. We all have long days. We try to get as much wear as possible out of our makeup. And I just started using these because I do use so many glowy products on my face and I use a lot of mist. Certain areas of my face will get oily, whereas others are dry. So I don't want to stop using a mist because my cheeks need it. At the same time, I look at my forehead and it does not need it. I'll have a little bit of oil here, visible here. And these little oil blotting sheets should be in every single person's purse, because when you get oily, you don't have to touch your makeup. You don't have to add powder, add more product after you've been sweating. It's not good for your skin. Instead of adding anything to your face, you take one of these little sheets, it's just like a piece of paper, and you can see the oil that comes off of your face. It is actually kind of creepy but cool to look at. So you take these little sheets and you dab them in the oily spots on your face while leaving the other places alone, and your makeup will look good as new. They are so inexpensive. They're awesome to have. These are from NYX. These are just really good to have for anyone, even if you have dry skin, combination skin. They just make sure that you maintain the look you want throughout the day. So my last items are getting into lips. The first thing, I know a lot of people use lip scrubs. I think having a lip scrub is absolutely necessary. I don't think it looks good when anyone uses lip product, be it lip gloss, lipstick, when they have dry skin around their lips. It is very obvious. The pigment actually makes it even more in your face. You just want to make sure that you prep the area before you apply lipstick. So you shouldn't use a lip scrub more than about twice a week, or you risk increasing your risk of getting cold sores and just over exfoliating. But twice a week should keep your lips really clean looking. This one is Sugar Lip Polish from Fresh. But you don't have to go and buy it if you don't want to spend the 20 bucks on it. You can just take an oil, like a coconut oil or olive oil if you like the smell, and put brown sugar with it and do little circles all around your mouth until you see that all the dead skin has been removed. Just wipe it off with a paper towel or a tissue or a real towel. It also brings circulation to your lips, so if you're going no makeup for a day, it might be nice to do that in the morning beforehand and have that natural flush by bringing blood to your lips. And once you've made sure that you have absolutely no dry skin hanging on your lips, hanging is a gross way to describe it. I could have used a less nasty verb, but you know what I meant. Then you can go in with a lip stain. There are so many lip stains out there. These are my favorites. I've gone through multiple tubes of the Dior lip tattoo, and I dab them on my lips in little dots, and then I rub the dots in with one of my fingers. I have the characteristically stained index finger if I'm in the car and I don't get a chance to wash them after. This will keep pigment on your lips for most of the day. The reason I started with a scrub for this one is because it will show any texture on your lips. So if you have the beginning of a cold sore or you have a dry patch, do not use a stain because the dry area will get so dark and you won't be able to lighten it. But on the days when you have even hydrated lips, these look so good and they have no texture at all, so you don't have to worry about wrinkling and like crinkling, flaking throughout the day because they're actually textureless. It just looks like you have a natural flush and it's so gorgeous. And my last item is piggybacking on that one. So liquid lipstick has been a trend for the last several years. These are my favorite liquid lipsticks. They are the Tatouage Couture Matte from Yves Saint Laurent. They really do go on matte. They don't cause any sort of texture or wrinkling. These are 3 pinky shades. This one's a little more nude. This one is a little purpley, and this is pinky berry. And all of them are super flattering. All of them leave a stain on your lips, which is something I like. I don't like when my lipstick starts to fade and you just see my natural, very light pink lip color underneath it, because it makes me feel I need to pay so much attention to touching it up throughout the day. When you wear something like this, you don't have to worry if you have a shrink-wrapped looking upper lip or anything, because it blends really well, it wears really well, and it fades evenly. One other that I really like for the same reasons is the Matte Trance from Pat McGrath. This shade is a Venus in Fur. I love the little kissy on the front. I do the same, I dab it everywhere and rub it out. But you can apply this like regular lipstick. I just like to kind of accelerate the blotting process by rubbing it in as I go so it doesn't transfer and it kind of gets into my lips and stays there throughout the day. I think it's important to have a lipstick you can rely on. And that is all for my makeup top 10. I've been wearing less makeup lately than usual because I work from home full time now until further notice. So I'm pretty much not wearing makeup Monday to Friday, and then I wear it Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the most part. But either way, I love makeup. I'm always down to learn more about it, and I hope that these tips can help you guys improve your routines or just make it a little bit easier to be able to rely on your makeup throughout the day. And if you have any products that you'd like me to know about, please let me know in the comments below, and I look so forward to your feedback. As always, there's more girl talk to come soon. Bye for now.